everyone, and welcome to the 7th episode of the Danmei Digest, where I talk about whatever Danmei novel catches my interest. I will be discussing Global Examination by Musu Li, translated by Rosmei. Last time we left off, You Huo and his group stayed the night in the woods, while the two people who sewed the dolls were visited at night by a disembodied arm. Unfortunately, the one who sewed the most had both of his legs cut off, with the body disappearing overnight. While the group continues to investigate before the next nightfall, we learn something interesting. While Invigilator 1, Qin Jiu, is the head invigilator, there used to be someone above him, Invigilator A. Invigilator A was an invigilator when Qin Jiu was still an examinee. Immediately, I guess that You Huo used to be Invigilator A. But I think the author wants you to know this early on since all the clues point towards it and it seemed fairly obvious. At the time, I was asking questions, of course, like, what did he do to get his memories erased and become an examinee again? Why doesn't Qin Jiu recognize or remember him? However, this book does a great job of revealing a lot at the end, but still leaving a lot of mysteries open. So you actually don't need to read the next book to answer some of these questions, but I'll get to that later. Before evening falls, the group attempts to write an answer to one of the questions, but they get it wrong. They thought the bodies of the Dark Widow's family were at the graveyard, but they are actually somewhere else, and they receive 0 points. This means someone is going to be chosen at random for coffining. I really like You Huo's characterization. At the beginning, I thought he was a bit too perfect in that he didn't seem to be challenged or fazed by anything, but we see now that he's not perfect. He gets frustrated at getting the wrong answer and not being able to figure it out just like everyone else. But he is extremely intelligent with good instincts, and that's what separates him from the other examinees. You Huo comes up with a genius plot. He sews all the arms and legs onto the dolls, making it certain that the disembodied hands and legs will go after him. Once night comes around, his instincts were correct in that he was the one taken for coffining. He literally disappears and reappears in a coffin under the ground in an instant. But due to his plan, all the arms and legs lead the rest of the group straight to where he's buried. And the arms and legs dig him out with their axes to try and kill him. But the rest of the group isn't idle, showing that they are slowly getting adjusted to the exams. They really step up, since they know that once You Huo is unburied, all the arms and legs will try to kill him. So they manage to use ropes and subdue every single limb, which was very impressive, honestly. While they're in the forest, they discover a bunch of graves with pictures of the deceased. But they realize the faces are the NPC villagers. It turns out that the villagers were once examinees who died during this Romani exam, taking the places of the previous NPC villagers. Not fully dead, but not living either. Well, You Huo has had enough of this exam. He's not going to turn into an NPC. He's going to burn it all to the ground. Literally. The next mission is to give dolls to the villagers, but you have to give the correct dolls to the correct villager. You Huo kidnaps all of the villagers and dumps the dolls at their feet. So I guess technically all of the dolls are given to the proper villager. The system, however, does not agree, and all of the villagers and disembodied body parts attack everyone all at once. Then You Huo realizes that the only way to set everyone free and to end the level is to cremate all of the bodies with fire. This is when he uses his invigilator help card, and Qin Jiu helps him set the fire, and basically burns down the whole forest and the village. You Huo definitely thinks outside of the box, and Qin Jiu is honestly his perfect match. He was, for one, all too willing to help You Huo's out-of-the-box idea. 2, he is also extremely intelligent. He predicted that You Huo would use his help card at this exact moment. So he prepared by spreading gasoline all around the village and the forest before his help was actually called upon. Also, this is the image on the cover of the book. It's a very beautiful and well-drawn illustration of the two main characters surrounded by fire. And we know that it's this scene because Qin Jiu is carrying a lighter, which is what he used to burn down the forest. Well, the exam is over, and once again, they have more survivors, a faster finish time, and more points than the average. Thanks to You Huo. Although burning down the forest did lose them some points. They're picked up by the same bus driver who dropped them off here, and we get some more information about the way this exam system works. One of the questions I had previously was, who is the owner of the hotel And who's the person running the convenience store at the service center? Well, we learned from the bus driver that they all used to be invigilators, but were demoted because of some mistake. It's a penalty and it varies depending on the severity of the action and the rank of the invigilator. We also learned that there are 5 service centers in the country, which is a lot fewer than I expected. And each service center is different and has different benefits. One has a casino where you can gamble for various benefits, like skip one exam. And another has everything in the convenience store on sale, which is the one they get dropped off at this time. Then something happened that I did not expect at all. You Huo, the pregnant woman who I mentioned once in the last episode, she was actually an examinee who died in the Romani exam. You Huo had his suspicions, as there were several strange things that happened around her in the past exams. One of them being that she was actually one of the people who wrote with the wrong writing utensil during the Hunter Alpha physics exam, but You Huo was punished instead of her. During the Romani exam in the past, she got a retake once card, so when she died, she got stuck between being an examinee and an NPC. Even weirder, her pregnancy is because the Dark Widow saved her life and put one of her children inside of her. That's definitely an oh moment after the shock wore off, of course. I was like, oh yeah, so that's why the disembodied limbs avoided her at the climax of the last exam. So on one hand, she's pretty much safe from death in the exams, but on the other hand, she can never finish them. Her points get reset after each completed exam, so she's just trapped forever, because she can never get 60 points. Another interesting tie-in is that the examinee who became the new Hunter Alpha was actually the one who caused her death in the Romani exam. So many interesting threads that I didn't expect, but it's so fascinating and satisfying to read. Okay, so if you're wondering how Qin Jiu can possibly stay involved throughout the rest of the book, it turns out that his actions helping You Huo burn down the forest was going a bit too far for the system, so he's now been demoted to become an examinee again. So yay, he gets to stick around, and we get more interactions between the 2 main characters. While that dynamic does give off enemies to lovers, or maybe more so rivals to lovers, we do get crumbs of cuteness. You Huo had a moment during the fire scene where he thought Qin Jiu was really good looking. And there is also that underlying tension between them that hints of a forgotten deeper relationship. When they go shopping for supplies at the service center, they even buy similar things. They're just meant to be together. Okay, so time to move on to exam number 3, history. From the new chapter title images, I guessed that this would be some sort of nautical adventure with a kraken. There was a boat with some tentacles wrapped around it. I was kind of close, and instead they're transported to a snowy island surrounded by a frozen sea. There are a bunch of sailors who are stuck there, and they have to keep the sailors alive and help them leave the island when the ice melts. I kind of got attached to the crew of people from the last exam, so I was a bit sad and worried to see that they got separated this time. I hope that You Huo's uncle and cousin are going to be okay. But do you know who's together? You guessed it, You Huo and Qin Jiu. And this time, each pair that is participating in this exam is working together. They're also competing against the other pairs, since the pair with the lowest score must take responsibility for the deaths of the sailors. You Huo, we learn her real name is actually Shu Xue, is also here, paired with a contestant who's a surgeon in the real world. In this exam so far, You Huo and Qin Jiu are such a great pair. They're just on the same wavelength 100% of the time. They both think outside the box, which does get them into trouble, but they just don't care about the rules at all and do whatever they want. For example, to get fuel for a fire, they basically dismantle one of the wooden boats, enough to last the whole duration of the exam. Of course, they get a timeout, and similar to last time, it's a room of their worst fears. You Huo's room is pitch black, slightly different from last time, but still no fears actually appear, unless the dark room is related to a fear somehow. And also like last time, You Huo just decides to take a nap. Meanwhile, Qin Jiu's room is interesting. It's a scene that seems to be from his past with Invigilator A. A bunch of ruins with broken cars and machinery. But because of his lost memory, he has no idea why this room appears as his biggest fear. I have a prediction, but I'll talk about this at the end. Unfortunately, at the end of that day, You Huo and Qin Jiu are the bottom ranking group, So in an instant, they disappear and reappear in the mouth of a kraken-like creature. They manage to escape from inside its mouth and take shelter behind some furniture in what seems to be an old shipwreck. Then You Huo gets a sense of deja vu, that he's been in this exact same place with the same person before. And for some reason, it comes with a feeling of sadness. It looks like his memories can potentially come back if something jolts him as a reminder. The pair manage to escape with some ingenious thinking and tear off some of the arms of the kraken, so roasted octopus for dinner. We also get some insight into how Qin Jiu feels about You Huo, mainly in admiration for his creativity, but I'm sure the feelings will continue to grow and change. So once again, the two have escaped what should be an unescapable situation using their wits. But these two just can't bask in their success and do something to get them sent back to the detention center again. Now here comes pretty much all the answers that I was looking for, but of course bringing new questions to light afterwards. Get ready for the biggest truth bomb ever. In the detention room, one of the invigilators proctoring the exam, Invigilator 21, comes into You Huo's detention room. It turns out she knows him and was given a mission by him when he was still Invigilator A. So that's confirmed, first of all. Then she says that the exams used to be a military project to look for special talents. Of course it's the military. You Huo was one of the first invigilators because he went to a military academy. Invigilator 21 also used to be at that same military academy. One day, something went wrong, and the system bugged out. Whether it's because of some AI that went rogue, a random bug, or human intervention, we don't know. But now the system is drawing in random people and trapping them here forever, both the examinees and the invigilators. You Huo tried to destroy the system, but he failed and the system deregistered him, erased his memories, and tried to eliminate him. Before he went off to do this mission, he told Invigilator 21 to find him and bring him back into the exam if he failed. And the last big truth, Qin Jiu might have been the one who messed up his plans and got him caught. And that's how the book ends. My gosh, it's like all and none of my questions got answered at the same time. But it was definitely a very satisfying reveal. Going back to Qin Jiu's detention setting, I think the ruins that appear are related to You Huo's attempt to destroy the system. This is maybe where the confrontation with them took place, and it appears in Qin Jiu's memories because maybe it's his fault, or indirectly his fault, that You Huo failed and pretty much died. That's my prediction. Also, it does seem like the examinees do die when they fail the exam, because You Huo was in the hospital after he was deregistered. And if Invigilator A barely survived, then the others probably didn't. So how can this technology be capable of all of this? I mean, I guess it's not too far-fetched for this genre. I mean, Sword Art Online comes to mind. But yeah, overall, I love this book. It had really good pacing. I was engaged the entire time. There's a great balance between main character interactions and relationship development, creative exams and engaging plot, as well as lots of things to speculate about. What went down between You Huo and Qin Jiu in the past? How and why did the system go rogue? And of course, how are they going to take down the system? I can't wait to read more and find out these answers, as well as see You Huo and Qin Jiu grow closer. A 5 out of 5 read for me. So our next book will be How to Survive as a Villain, which sounds very similar to one of the previous books I covered, but it isn't the same. These types of stories are pretty widespread in both Danmei and Japanese light novels. But yes, thank you all so much for listening, and until next time.